Do you have everything you need? What can I get for you?
I absolutely do. I'm going to get going on this apple compote. So I chopped up those beautiful apples. Where did we get our apples from today?
I bought them at Bricks. They get them from a local farm. I think it's called Atom Apples, A-T-O-M.
I put a little bit of lemon zest in there.
It smells super good.
There are apple orchards are still open. I know that in Madison, Door Creek is taking reservations, so you can still go apple picking even in COVID. So many of the small businesses are doing everything they can creatively, strategically to keep the community safe but still run their business however they're able to. So go check out, see where your orchards are still having tours. Go pick apples. They are amazing this year.
Yeah, we can pitch here in our community. We have Munchkey apples.
Ooh.
Munchkey apples is just a couple minutes away from here. Wonderful farm. They now have a certified kitchen, so they're making, fabulous apple cider donuts in the morning and apple pies.
Oh, shout out to Gentle Breeze Honey.
Beautiful.
We're going to add some honey to our, and we'll just cook this all down. As you can see, it's all very exact.
Also, also in the 51st, Oakwood Orchards is up near Richland Center. Wonderful orchard. They have a great little shop. Apples and also baked goods, and then lots of apple-y country gifts.
All right, and always important when you're doing sweet bacon stuff to add a little bit of salt to everything. It helps bring out the sweetness in things. So I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of salt. There's cinnamon in there, and some of this delicious brick cider. I know, cooking apples and apple cider. I'm going to hit this with a little bit of lemon juice as well.
One of the other things we were talking about off camera was how many people want to have this country lifestyle. And the importance of making that magic happen for people and the barriers to why people who want to live rurally can't.
And what is one of the main things right now that we're really trying to fight for?
Well, yeah, the big barrier, and people may not realize it when they start looking for a rural property, is that we don't have internet at a lot of our homes. We actually have good internet here. That's why we can live stream. But my campaign staff, who's behind the camera, she cannot get internet at her home up outside of Baraboo. And so she can't work from home. And that's a huge barrier to living out here. I mean, you would not pick a permanent home in a place where you couldn't work from home these days. And I think for my business, having good internet, I live very close to Blanchardville, so I'm at the end of a TDS reclaimed phone line. But if I didn't have that, I could not have built this, award-winning bed and breakfast over a decade and a half, because nobody could find me. I couldn't afford to advertise to the people who want to come out here, and so internet has meant the world to me. And I know from talking to my guests every morning that people want to move out here. I've had many guests move out here, and still others who are looking right now. We have a couple who are trying to help find a place somewhere in southwest Wisconsin, but they have to have good internet for their jobs. And so this is a real sticky problem that has...
And it's a little bit more complicated than people realize than just saying, let's expand broadband.
Exactly. You'll notice that everybody's going to run on that. There's no rural candidate that doesn't have that in their platform. When I ran against Howard Markline last year, he had that in his campaign literature. He'd been in office for over a decade, and yet somehow we still don't have broadband here. But he's running on it. My opponent this time, Todd Novak, will run as a broadband leader. Nevertheless, his party continues to not fund broadband expansion adequately. It needs to be treated like a utility. That's what it is these days. It's not fluff. It's not just about watching Netflix. Yeah. It's about having viable businesses out in rural Wisconsin.
I think you're absolutely right that it is a utility, which makes it, essentially, it's becoming a right to have this.
Exactly. So during the COVID crisis, when our kids left school, many kids were sitting in the parking lot of the school for hours a day to do their homework. And that's just no way to get
Yeah.
the job done. And we have to have a conversation about why, after a decade of talking about it, we still don't have broadband out
Yeah.
to every last farm. There's been a lot of things proposed. They take money and they take will and they take standing up to the large monopolistic telecoms that benefit from us keeping this a very private enterprise.
So what's one of the ways you can get kind of around some of those monopolies and some of that?
Well, I mean, one of the things is municipalities have tried to create their own co-ops. Running fiber isn't rocket science. We actually have 2 high-tech digging firms in Blanchardville that employ a lot of people digging very thin, efficient ditches along the side of the road to get fiber into communities. It's not that expensive, but we currently have laws in Wisconsin that make it really hard for municipalities to create their own co-ops and provide inexpensive broadband. One of the sort of hidden barriers is that you have to do a 3-year feasibility plan before you can, as a municipal co-op, start a co-op internet company. I'm not sure why you would need that. Do a 3-year feasibility study on broadband, I think.
And what's worked for some of these co-ops before?
What's worked?
Yeah.
Well, prior to that law being made, Leesburg had a very successful municipal co-op, and after that, the telecoms worked with the legislators to get laws passed that would benefit them, which made it harder for municipalities to start their own co-ops. So the place where we're at now is basically we work really hard, we lobby really hard in rural communities. I've done it in DC and here in Wisconsin at the Capitol, asking for more state money and more federal money to go toward getting rural fiber and rural broadband. And I've worked with some of the smaller companies who want to come in here and provide services to rural places. But we just need to have a different look at this. Instead of trying to entice private providers, we need to treat this like a public utility.
Exactly.
And we need to hold
And a
providers
public good.
accountable. And we need to remove all barriers to getting it out here. Am I
Because
doing
it's
all
gonna
of
be a
these?
huge. Nah.
How much?
Do you feel good about what you put in there?
Well, I really like red onions, so I might do one more.
Yeah. One more. Let's
The big one or the medium?
Let's do the medium one. But it's gonna be a huge. It's gonna be a what opens doors to more business and investment and entrepreneurs coming in to rural areas if they know that they have access to high-speed internet. I know, especially as a restaurant owner and any other really retail, you can't do your business without online shopping, online shoppers. You need
Right.
a point of sale system for your restaurants.
Right.
All of that relies on high quality, high speed internet.
Exactly. Well, and I am not one who is fatalistic about rural places. I absolutely believe there is a future for rural communities. I believe that there are people who want to live here, who want to shop here. I think there are people who want to experience an agricultural lifestyle, either as a tourist or as a resident. But there is no future for us without broadband.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's
that's
just
it.
it's just
That's the real talk.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got to get it done. One way or another, we got to work together to get it done. And if you look at the states around us, if you look at Minnesota, they have spent so much more on broadband and they have much better opportunities. Wisconsin won't do well unless its rural places do well.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're all in this together.